All right, hello and welcome to the Bomb Shelter session. Again, I am your host, DJ Lasercat, also known as Carlos Rodriguez, and with me today is the illustrious and unknown Randy Mower, someone who hasn't really been seen in the local scene at all, to be honest. And yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm actually really excited for this. One, because of course, you're my stepdad, but two, because I really do think that you have a style of country music that I think has really gone away in today's popular sphere of country. I mean, we have people like Florida Georgia Line with like run-on sentences and things like this. But I guess what I want to start out with is where does your like musical journey kind of like start? So like who taught you? Did you teach yourself? That kind of thing.
Well, I started back, I think it was 1972. I know it's a long time ago. But there was a nun at the church I went to, and she basically said, hey, I'll teach you all to play the guitar, but the thing is you got to play in church for us. So we went through the summer months and learned to play guitar. And by the time we were ready to play, she left the church, and we never did get to play in church.
Just
so
left
after
you
that,
everything.
I kind of self-taught myself. I can't read music or anything like that. I just play by ear.
Okay. So, I mean, like you said, you've been playing since 72. And when exactly did you just kind of like figure out like, hey, I'm kind of good at this? Because obviously we're never 100% like perfect because
Yeah, I've never
that's not a
figured
thing.
out that I'm good at this. But no, I'll put it this way. I figured out that I like to do it after she basically taught me.
Okay.
But I didn't really think I could sing until mid-20s.
Mid-20s.
Yeah.
Okay, so when
I-
you learned, you were about, what, 12 years old, right?
Yep.
Okay, so mid-20s, so like that took another 10 years for you to realize like, hey, I actually can kind of like sing and play at the same time. And when was the first time you really performed in front of a crowd?
That would be, I think it was 1995. It was in Gridley. I just got started, and we had a Gridley theater there, movie theater, and I had the Randall Max Mower and a Kicking Country band. And actually the first show at that theater, we sold out, and it was quite a journey because that was the first time I really got on stage and did anything, and it was really good for me. And I think everybody had a good time.
So, going from that, I feel like you have a very different story than a lot of local artists here, where a lot of these local artists are, yeah, I've been like playing music for a while, or like I've had a bit of a following, or this is just something that they're trying to do for a living to some extent. But for you, you released an album back in 1994, right?
94,
Yeah,
95.
94, 95, around there. And what happened after that was you played your show in Gridley, and that was kind of really like the last time you really did anything like publicly for music, I guess you should say. So you do kind of have the opposite track where like you had a pretty decent following in the local music scene, at least at the time, and then you just kind of were like, yeah, I'm done. And obviously I know that you had personal issues and stuff like that, but now that you're here now, knowing all that stuff from 20 years ago, how do you feel like that's affected your like musical process, like your songwriting, your lyrics, and stuff like that?
I think it's made a better songwriter out of me. From my album back then to now, I think I write better songs. Just from my life experiences. And I like country sad songs. I mean, I really do. Probably because a lot of my life had a lot of things not really good going on.
Are you saying your life was basically a country sad song?
Yes, I am.
So, now that we're on the topic of just like country sad songs or what you like, what artists were like the ones you were looking towards when you were writing music and stuff like that?
Well, my favorite songwriter is Chris Christopherson.
Yes.
And back in the day, way back, Johnny Cash, Willie,
Mm-hmm.
like that. But Johnny Cash was the first album I ever had.
Oh, wow.
And
I actually never knew that.
Yep. And I listened to him over and over. And I like his style of music.
So, obviously, like Johnny Cash is known as the 4 chord hero, where a lot of his songs are just like 4 chords, and they're either the same 4 chords or just a different variation. And
I use 3.5.
yes, 3.5 because you lift your finger on 1 chord. But I think what's interesting though is like you name people like Chris Christopherson, Willie, and Johnny Cash, of course, as a lot of your big influences, but you seem to almost kind of stray from their kind of sound at the same time. Where like maybe back when you first were writing music, you were emulating them, but now with a lot of the stuff you've been writing in recent years and things like that, you have really just kind of gone away from like the outlaw country style or like the traditional kind of like very minimalistic country style to kind of just this really I kind of want to call it Americana because it's not so much like country anymore because country has a very like specific definition behind it, and I feel like a lot of your new stuff is combining kind of like a bluesy kind of like raspy voice behind it.
Yeah. I don't know what you want to classify it as, but I kind of do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you want to call it, it's just what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know it's not traditional too much. Some of my songs are.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the latest things I've written, not really.
So I just really want you to like tell the story of probably the first time you sang in front of people. So not so much like the crowd like at the Gridley Theater, but like the first time you sang in front of strangers that you probably didn't know.
Well, let's see. I'd sing, that I didn't know, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's back in 89, 90. I mean, some of my friends, but people would gather around, and some of them I wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been, I can see how some of the people on stage, you hear these stories, they're always nervous when they get up there. And yeah, I'm one of them guys, I get nervous in front of people. When I get home and I put my headphones on, I like to write. I'm not so much the entertainer guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like to write songs. And if I'm singing in front of a crowd, it's okay. But I just soon go to a coffee shop. That'd be better for me.
Okay.
Songwriter's coffee shop. I'd rather do the songwriting thing than be the entertainer guy.
Okay. So I specifically am thinking of a story that one of your closest friends tells all the time about a karaoke contest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and honestly,
it wasn't karaoke. It was a band.
And I really do think that's like probably the perfect definition of you as an artist, where you just said like, I don't like being in front of people and entertaining. You prefer to do the songwriting and the small, intimate crowd kind of stuff. So it's totally okay for you to tell that story, by the way, because this is the internet. So.
Okay, so this is back in 80s. And there's this, used to be a bar up here at Chico called the Jolly Fox. And it was a good hangout for us. We came up one Saturday night, and they were having a singers contest. So my buddy said, hey, because I used to sing a lot. He liked my stuff. He says, hey, they're having a singing contest. He goes, you should do that. And by that time of the night, I had a few in me. I said, I should. And he goes, good, we'll come back next week and you'll do it. And he goes, shake on it. So I shook on it. I thought, man, we'll forget about it by next week. So anyway, next Friday or Saturday night or Saturday rolls around, and he goes, hey, we're going to go to Chico tonight, right? And I go, yeah. He goes, good, bring your guitar. I said, I ain't bringing my guitar. He goes, you bring your guitar. So I said, okay, I'll bring it. So I got up there, and I thought, man, he'll forget about the contest and everything. So we went in there and had a couple beers. He goes, go sign up. I said, I am not signing up for this contest. And he goes, you're going to sign up for this contest? You shook on it. I said, the heck I am. He goes, you got a choice. I said, what? He goes, you can either sing the song up there and sign up and do what you're going to do, or we're going to go out in the parking lot and fight. And you can do it with a black eye, or you can do it without a black eye. So I went and signed up, and we won first place that night. And we went back a month later for the finals, and we won first place at that. So it's basically my buddy got me over the fear of talking in front of people a little bit, or singing in front of people, I should say.
And obviously that carried on to like the 90s where you eventually did release your own album and that kind of thing. But obviously, like, I have some insight because you are my stepdad, but I really do think that a lot of what your career as a like artist really is, it's a lot of people helping you like push yourself is what like it is, because you are a very like private person, I guess is like the best way to say it, or like a very introverted person where you're not a fan of really big crowds. You can do very small crowds, such as like this little setup here.
Sure.
But you don't like, oh yeah, I'm going to go play in front of a bar full of like 50, 100 people.
No.
As opposed to like, oh yeah, a coffee shop with like 10, 15.
The reason I like coffee shops and stuff like that instead of a bar is because people are there to listen to what you have to say. And when I go to one of them, I like to hear what they have to say, along with I like to tell them, show them what I have to, say.
Yep. Well, I feel like we've talked a lot about you now. So what songs are going to be playing for us today?
I'm going to play 3 songs. 2 of them will be mine, and one will be a Doug Supernaw song called Reno.
And what are the 2 songs that you'll be playing that are yours?
First one will be We're History. I wrote that song. It should speak for itself. A bad time of my life, Lost somebody there. I lost somebody during that time, and it was a breakup, and that's...
Would you say it's a sad country song?
Yeah. I would.
And then the second song?
The second one is the latest one I've written, and it's has to do with alcoholism.
And what's it called?
It is called, wait for it, I've Been There Before.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today for the Bomb Shelter session. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your songs right now.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.